one of the first signings of the whole offseason was KCP signing with the Magic, and he addresses the need of perimeter shooting that Orlando needs. Are you happy with the signing? Do you wish they would have done a little more in the offseason? Give me like an overall offseason grade for the Magic.
Yeah, I kinda gave this personal grade, I gave it like a kinda like an A minus to an
Okay.
extent. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Not much to really complain about other than, like, maybe some people wish there was a few more shufflings of the deck and some of the role players, and that's where I'm like, "Yeah, we can be nitpicky there." Like, should Cole Anthony still be on this roster? I'm not sure. Should our backup centers still be Mo Wagner and Goga Batadze? That's where I'm kind of like, we kind of just ran it back, but everything was
Yeah.
safe. All their contracts were safe. So outside of that, thinking about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, it's like, dude, it's a good contract, 3 years,
Mhm.
player option on the 3rd contract. Like, it's not a dangerous number. I think it's 63, so it's like around 20 mil a year, which is just, it's a safe contract for a guy who's one of the best two-way guards in the league right now with his defense and his perimeter shooting. Championship experience as a starter on 2 different teams with the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. And, for a team like the Magic that are so inexperienced, like their most veteran player outside of KCP on this team that has playoff experience outside of the young cores is Gary Harris. And he had 3 years of playoff experience with Denver before they
Yeah.
kind of like matured as a playoff team. And so they just needed that guy to continue to come in. And sure, we had the rumors of like Paul George and Klay Thompson, and there was some excitement there. Like, I was
Yeah.
talking myself into either one of those scenarios as, how would this help this team? Is this team ready for that kind of step where I think the KCP kind of fits the DNA and the identity of this team a little bit better than taking that like all in move if, things didn't go right with the Clippers and Philly than Paul George. Like, we were never a top option, but we were like,
Yeah.
if they both screw me, like, I'll talk to Orlando because they got money, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think it made more sense to kind of just build off the identity. And so what you do is you look at the starting five and you see Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in that Gary Harris role, and it's like, cool. They're kind of similar players. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a little bit more off the dribble. He's got a little bit more movement off ball in his game. But overall, they're very similar, like similar in 3-point percentage and volume. But like, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hits him in better, more clutch moments than Gary Harris does. And then you have defensively, it's like, okay, Gary's a good defender. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a really, really good defender,
Yeah.
and he's healthy. I think he's missed like 9% of his available games in the last like
Dude
6
was on
years. It's
house arrest playing
something
with an ankle bracelet.
yeah, dude.
I mean,
Like,
that you can't be more available than
you
that.
cannot be more available than being on
Facts.
house arrest with an ankle bracelet, still playing in games. Like, he is a monster though. But even before, after all that, like, he's just always healthy. Like, I think
Yo.
the least amount of games he's played, um, like 69 is like the least amount of game. Nice, right? Is the
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
amount of games that he's played in like 6 seasons. It's insane how available this is. And the Magic team are constantly injured, constantly. And so when you add him into that kind of role, it's like, dude, Jalen Suggs and Contavious Caldwell-Pope is going to be the nastiest defensive guard
Yeah.
backcourt in the entire league. There's no one that's going to be a better defensive backcourt than those two, in my opinion. And then, oh shoot, if they need someone to take on a bigger guy, Franz Wagner is a pretty damn good like one-on-one defender too. So I love the Contavious Caldwell Pope. It's not like the sexiest thing in the
No, but
world
it
for
fits.
for any team, but it's like, he's really darn good. He's got championship experience to bring to this young roster, and he doesn't mess with the DNA of this team and how they're continuing to build and grow. Defensive first, improves the shooting, brings Gary Harris down a notch, bringing more shooting into the second unit. Markel Fultz isn't with the team, so like, oh cool, you're taking a guy out of the rotation who didn't take any threes of Markel Fultz and adding Gary Harris will take probably 4 a game and hit him at 40%. So you're just continuing to smooth out this roster, and it's really, really nice. So long answer, I'm psyched.
Nice.
Was there a possible another like minor move you would have wanted to like address a little bit of the issue of the shooting? Just looking at the landscape of things.
It could there have been some excitement on going and trying to like convince a Gary Trent to like
Mm,
take in a second unit role with the Magic.
That would have been nice. Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool to get a guy that's taking 6 to 8 threes per game in that second unit to really just kind of bring some fire and kind of like maybe solidify like that 6-man role a little bit more and blend them in with the starters a bit. There's obviously the questions on like point guard, like cool, you brought in KCP, but okay, that means you're really leaning into Suggs' growth as a point guard in that starting unit, which is not a bad thing if he can take that next step. Um, you know, I like Mo Wagner, but I'm not his biggest fan. I think like
Mm.
offensively, if he's off, he's pretty useless defensively for that team. And so it's like, yeah, could have there been a little bit more excitement with that second unit backup center. But overall, I'm like pretty content. They didn't sign any bad contracts. Like every contract they gave out is very team friendly, where it's like a team option on the second year, short term. So it's like you can trade it for flexibility if you need be. We still have all of our own picks and assets. Like what I like about this is we didn't go out and sign a player that's just gonna have to be replaced in a couple of years. Like I
Yeah.
always like a lot of Magic fans wanted Tyus Jones, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, we're gonna get Tyus Jones, and he's gonna be a starter. And then ultimately, we're gonna realize his defense sucks, and he's gonna get moved down into the second unit over Cole, and we're gonna be in 2 seasons looking for another starting point guard. So like,
Fair.
let's not go do that move. Like, I don't want to just find stopgap moves. And I
Yeah.
think they did a really good thing. And like they can give themselves flexibility if some of a good trade comes like this deadline or even next offseason before like some of these bigger contracts kick in. So like yeah, I'm overall pretty happy. And that's why like you asked me what grade, like A minus, like somewhere around there
Solid.
is
Okay.
cool. It's I don't think I can give an A plus because I don't think anyone really ever deserves an A plus. There's always something that maybe you could have looked at, but
Yeah.
you don't know what the calls were like. And so yeah,
Yeah.
I think they did really well this offseason.